in this similar topic, right? We see that a lot of people, a lot of women, especially when they're in higher profile pictures, when they're in high profile positions, I should say, like CEOs and politicians, they always have to be in a suit or something like that. I kind of always want to get the opinion on, do you think that's synonymous? Like women can't be quote unquote sexy when they're
Yeah,
in
for
these
sure.
positions?
I think it further perpetuates this separation between, being an intellectual or being someone who's sexy. Like you can't. I think someone like Meg Thee Stallion is so amazing and such a sensation because she, be shaking that ass, but she's also a college student, and I think that that erases this separation in the Black community, or just in America in general, that's perpetuated. That's like, you can't be smart and also be sexy at the same time. And I think we really, really need figures like that disrupt that narrative. Ultimately, this is a manifestation of patriarchy, right?
Okay.
This is a manifestation of white male power. This need to put women in suits in order to be taken seriously, which is ultimately a suppression of divine feminine energy. It is our sexual energy, which is also our creative energy. So to suppress our sexuality is to suppress our creativity. To suppress our creativity is to suppress our ability to think outside of the system. So the divine feminine must be suppressed in order to perpetuate the matrix that we are in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're obviously somebody who has your agenda, things that you want to communicate. So I'm just asking, do you put thought into how you're presenting yourself? Is that ever a concern of yours personally? If you're going to go do your TED talk, are you saying, I got to dress like this, otherwise they won't take me serious? Does that cross your mind, or have you freed yourself from that line of thinking?
I think that's the whole point of me going natural. I think that's the whole point of me deciding to be disruptive with my afro and go against these Eurocentric beauty standards that have been perpetuated in my industry for so long. I aim to be disruptive. I'm here to disrupt the narrative. I think God intentionally put me in this body as a Black woman, an attractive Black woman. I've done Sports Illustrated. I've done Victoria's Secret. I've done all the sexy shit, all this, Savage Fenty. I've done all that. But I've also done a TED Talk. I'm also very articulate. I also know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And I think that is very intentional because it disrupts this notion that you cannot be sexy and smart at the same time.
So in terms of like going back to the whole sexuality aspect of it all, when we have Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Mulatto, a lot of these like really, really massively popular female artists who, there's a lot of people who would say that the hypersexualization is perpetuating the stereotype that they want the Black woman to serve as, right? White men have placed Black women in a box. A lot of people say that. I don't necessarily feel that way, but I know that that's the conversation that's had. Like, I have friends who will talk about, yo, I can't have my daughter listening to WAP. I can't have her watching Cardi B twerking and Meg Thee Stallion doing this and Bust It Challenge. Like, I have friends that have daughters that are like, I don't want this for my children. This is connecting them to a stereotype that's going to put them on the wrong path. How do you balance the sexualization? Like, because I know you said it's the divine feminine energy. So,
and that's what I'm sort of thinking right now is like, there's been a suppression of divine feminine energy on this planet for so long due to capitalism, patriarchy, and white supremacy that now we're sort of seeing the pendulum swing to the other side, and we're getting this sort of extreme feminine sexuality. And I think that's working for this moment because it's breaking us free of what we have been in. And I think eventually we will find an equilibrium. But I do think that this is very necessary for this moment. I think everything serves its purpose. Do I feel like it will be this way forever? Do I feel like this is the ideal? Not necessarily, but do I judge it? No, because I understand that we are breaking free from patriarchy. And in order to do that, we have to completely own our shadow. We have to completely own our sexuality. We have to completely own all of the parts of ourselves that we've been taught to reject. And that's what this looks like. That's what this is. This is us owning all of the parts of ourselves that we've been taught to reject.
Prop and Reg, I challenge you guys to kind of share and be honest about it. When you see the representation,
this feels like a setup, Greg. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got some background noise, my fault, but this feels like a setup.
Like, no, I'm not setting you up, but I do want, because you know what the thing is, right? You know, and it's there's conversations that happen on the side, right, between guys where they'll be like, oh, this is like, what is she doing? She looks like a thought, or this, that, the third. But then we get in mixed spaces and we're like, no, we're cool with it. So I just want as close to an honest answer as possible. Like, when you see everything that's going on and the way that, you know, a lot of the female artists are and things. Yo, the other day I was listening to Ariana Grande and she had a song, 34 plus 35, right? And she had Meg Thee Stallion and Doja Cat on it. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I listened to it and it was a metaphor for 69. Yeah. And I was like, Ariana Grande got a single about 69? What the hell is going on here? Like, Ariana Grande, the Disney chick?
All right, listen, like, this is my personal opinion about it. I shouldn't have a personal opinion about it. And I will put out this disclaimer earlier. A man should never have an opinion about what a woman should be doing with her body. So this opinion is strictly for the show. I don't have an opinion about it. Women, you can do what y'all want with it. But based on the environment that we're living in, I think it's cool that women own their sexuality. Do I think that sometimes it may be a little bit much? Not much in the aspect of like, oh my God, I'm an American that's approved. Because when you go overseas, like, if you go to France, there's breasts on the screen all the time. If you go to Europe, like, women naked is not a thing. Like, that for us, we're taught that that's taboo, right? But in all reality, I think it's just more so like how Ebonee was explaining, how right now it's very, very dramatic or like very polarizing to one side. That scares me only sometimes because there are a lot of young women out here that are lost and they have like identity issues and they're trying to figure out things, and they may be going through an ugly ducking phase that every single one of us here went through, that they might feel insecure and they might start to think certain things like maybe the only reason why he doesn't like me or whatever their orientation is, they don't like me based on the fact that I'm not doing what they see go on in the media. Because like kids are very impressionable. Like in terms of like, that's my main thing with the hypersexualization. At the end of the day, we all adults. You're over 18, you're smart enough, you go get yourself tested every 6 months. Like, cool, get it how you live. But my problem is the influence it has on kids, because unfortunately a lot of parents have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, and they may not be there to hold their child's hand as much as they want to. And a lot of us, like, although I came from a great family, like, we're all kids that are raised on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So now imagine if we're being raised in an era that it was very hypersexualization. Like,
yeah, like Cardi B says, I don't cook, I don't clean, but how'd I get this ring? So it's like, I know that people are looking at it.
In defiance, like, if you think about it for real, that's in defiance of patriarchy. I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't play a woman's role. Like, I'm not doing those things. Like, I'm a boss chick, you know what I mean? And maybe that's not, again, the ideal way to go about it. And I don't think that's where we are going to find ourselves a few years from now. I think we are very polarized in the direction of female liberation. I think we are very polarized in the direction of female sexuality. And I think,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I just had to remember, because Greg, you brought up a great point about Cardi B, right? There's a video going around of Cardi B, like, where she becomes frantic and startling. She's running to turn the phone off because she's listening to WAP, and her daughter comes in the room.
Oh, wow.
Now, if your record pushes you to do that kind of shit, right? How do you really feel about it? That's right. My thing. Like, I just remember that when you brought up that Cardi B, because I don't know, did you guys see the clip? Like, she was startled.
I didn't see that, frantic. But I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked because these people.
But the music, see, and this is what I said to Greg before when we were having this brief conversation, is that I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? People are adults. People are doing what they want to do. I think that everyone wants to label people in boxes, and when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, Cardi B, Mulatto, and all these people are not for kids. They're not for kids. So yes, I understand that they're gonna listen to it, but they make adult content. And if women are doing what they want to do, as long as they're safe, and me as a man, I don't have to agree with anything anyone's doing, just like they don't have to agree with me.
For sure.
So, but also I don't have dominance over their body either. So if they were doing that before me, I'm not going to be the one. I'm not looking up people's research. You know what I mean? Like this is I only can like judge you based on how you are with me. You know what I mean? I think for so long their balance has been that men, like Future got 10 kids or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
NBA YoungBoy has
like
what,
NBA young,
6?
like these people, like we're talking about the bare minimum when it comes to the shit, because we have rappers who are absolutely insane representatives for young black men. So I can't even get on a ledge and say, yo, but look at this person, look at that person. Yo, we have the worst representatives
Yeah, but my
100%.
shit is
and we're not talking about that enough. So
no, but
100%.
and I'm with you on that. But my other thing is too, right? Is that like I think that because we're in this voyeuristic era where everyone thinks that they're allowed to have an opinion about someone else's life, everyone always got some shit to say when they should be shutting the fuck up and minding what's going on in their own house because everyone wants to throw stones when they live in a glass house. But that's
exactly.
just my opinion.
The only time I really find it sad is when I get the hint of a woman feeling like she has to over sexualize herself in
That's
order to sell records.
a function of the system too. Exploitation, like the system very much depends on exploitation, and that is a pattern within myself that I had to confront because, as I mentioned earlier, my mom was a sex worker, and I'm a model, and so my body has always been used to generate my not always, but since I've been of adult age, started modeling at 18, my body has been used to generate my income. My mother's body was used to generate her income, and it's like at a certain
That's actually deep.
yeah, it really is. It's like this evolution where this pattern is being passed down, right? And it's like, unless I confront it and take control of my image and how I present myself to the world, then it continues to perpetuate itself. I've been put in situations where I've been uncomfortable on set, but I went along with certain things that I wasn't comfortable with because I felt like it was what I needed to do in the moment. That was exploitation.